Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maurya Hanspal, and in this session, we will talk about the net asset value, as told about in the previous session. So, when we talk about the net asset value, NAV, we call it. Okay, since the stock price, the prices is to the stock, the NAV is to the mutual fund. Because when you are picking up individual stocks, when the equity shares of the company, you are buying the shares in general, and you have to pay the price for the full. But what happens in terms of NAV, you get the units of that mutual fund. In terms of NAV, you get the units of that mutual fund. So the price is to share, the net asset value is to the mutual funds, and that we need to know. Okay. Let me see the comment section as well. In case you have like any queries about the session, you can keep posting on the comment section as well. And I'll be like looking into the same. Okay. Give me a second. Yeah. So when we talk about the NAV, it's nothing but the assets of the mutual funds minus the liabilities of the mutual funds. The assets of the mutual funds minus the liabilities of the mutual fund divided by the number of units. Okay, we'll try to understand this with a simple calculation as well. But one thing we need to understand, in the numerator, you have your fund assets minus the fund's liabilities. And in the denominator, you have the units, that is how much units have been allocated to you. Like for example, if the index value, like if you are like investing into an index fund and the value of the Nifty is going to be like 10,000, like 10,000 rupees. Okay. So just assume that the value of the Nifty is 10,000 rupees, just for the sake of simplicity of the calculation, though I do not like really hope that the value of the Nifty should come down anyway. Okay. So just assume for the sake of simplicity of the calculation that the value of the Nifty is going to be 10,000 rupees. And obviously, like you people would have a budgeted amount or a corpus or a certain amount that you would like to invest in the market. So that amount you set aside, and the amount that you are willing to invest into the market is 100 rupees. Okay. So the value of the Nifty or the benchmark index in case of an index fund is like 10,000, and you have just 100 rupees to invest in. Now, how many units you will get of that mutual fund? Like index mutual fund है, इंडेक्स की वैल्यू 10,000 रुपीज चल रही है, एंड आप बस 100 रुपीज ही इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हो, तो कितने यूनिट्स आपको मिलेंगे? इट वुड बी नथिंग बट योर 10,000 डिवाइडेड बाय 100 units of that mutual fund you will get. ठीक है. सो इफ लाइक यू विल हैव 200 रुपीज, ठीक है, देन ज्यादा म्यूचुअल फंड्स के यूनिट्स मिल सकते हैं. 300 रुपीज, देन ज्यादा मिल सकते हैं. सो दैट इज अल्टीमेटली लाइक ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट वैल्यू. ओके. सो दैट इज अल्टीमेटली, देखो, अगर मतलब इट बेसिकली लाइक इट डिपेंड्स अपॉन द इंडेक्स वैल्यू. अगर इंडेक्स वैल्यू बहुत ज्यादा है एंड पैसा आपके पास कम है, ठीक है, तो यूनिट्स भी कम ही मिलेंगे. सो इट इज ऑन अ पर एलोकेशन बेसिस पे, ठीक है, बट द वैल्यू रिमेन सेम. कि आपका मतलब कितने लाइक नंबर ऑफ यूनिट्स मिल रहे हैं, इट वुड बी नथिंग बट आप ऐसे भी कैलकुलेट कर सकते हो, मतलब कि टेकिंग द यूनिट्स हियर, funds asset minus liabilities divided by your NAV. Okay, so that is one thing. But now what do we mean by the funds assets and funds liabilities? ठीक है, एंड ये सेम कॉन्सेप्ट हम मतलब कि शेयर्स में भी ले सकते हैं. ठीक है, कि मतलब 100 रुपीज मान लो प्राइस है एंड 10,000 रुपीज की वैल्यू चल रही है. ठीक है, तो आप कितने शेयर्स खरीद सकते हो? आप 100 शेयर्स खरीद सकते हो. सेम कॉन्सेप्ट इन केस ऑफ दी, लाइक हाउ मेनी units you people can get. The asset minus liability, the corpus of the fund दिया हुआ है and NAV दिया हुआ है. Price is to stock and NAV is to the mutual fund. Similarly, you people can calculate the units also. Okay, कितने आपको units allot होने. Similarly, when we talk about, हाँ, अब हम बात करते हैं कि when we are talking about the assets and liabilities, what can be the fund's assets and liabilities? See, ultimately, if a fund has equity shares, a fund has bonds, a fund has commodities, ultimately the fund is investing into those securities and the fund wants the returns from that. And all the investments are an asset. Okay, so basically, if you people have knowledge about the balance sheet or the position statement of a company, like there we know in the position statement of the company, like we know one thing, we have the concept of investments and we show the investments on the asset side. The short-term investments are shown as a current asset and the long-term investments are shown as a non-current asset, right? So these are shown there. Okay. So like in non-current assets, like you might have some fixed assets, tangible, intangible. So all these things are there. So when we talk about these things, your assets are nothing but your fund's assets, the equity shares. It can be your bonds, your commodities, cash also. Ultimately, all the assets in which the fund house has invested into, and that is your assets. So just assume all the equity plus bonds plus your commodities plus your cash. The total comes out to be like 100 crores. The total comes out to be 100 crores. And now what can be the liabilities? Your liabilities can be in terms of the expense ratio of the fund, some kind of management fees for the fund. Like for example, if you are like investing into a ULIP, like the unit linked investment plan, in which a proportion of the premium goes towards your investment and the other proportion of the premium goes towards your insurance cover, right? In that case, your insurance premiums that you have to pay, premium is your asset, but the claim that you have to settle, ultimately it would be your liability, because तुमको वो देना है, and that is something is going out of your pocket. Okay, but in terms of the insurance premiums that you are getting, because insurance premiums that you are getting are your asset. Okay, so in terms of the normal mutual funds, we can say your like management fees, expense ratios, your marketing expenses, which have to be recovered from us, are the liabilities. And in case of ULIP, the marketing expenses, expense ratio, ये सब होगा ही, plus additionally the claim that they have to settle. So that claim amount, it also comes into place as a liability. So just assume it is nothing but 50 crores. Okay, and the units, how many units are there? Okay, for example, the units or basically the number of shares or units, okay, are 100. So कितना होगा? It is 50 by 100. 0.50 is your NAV of the mutual fund, the net asset value of the mutual fund, the NAV 0.50. And this is how you calculate the net asset value. And now they have given an example here. The example that they have given here is the income. See, the initial NAV is 20. So basically, see, when we are trying to calculate how much return a stock has given, we calculate it in terms of price. But in terms of the mutual funds, you have to calculate in terms of the NAV. Like we used to, like in terms of stocks, like we used to have the formula for the holding period return. We used to see the final share, like for example, if the price, the share was bought at a price of 100 rupees and 200 rupees was the selling price and dividend were 50 rupees. And this is to calculate the holding period return कि इस stock पे एक overall return कितना मिला. ठीक है, तो हम कैसे calculate करते थे? The final value is 200 minus the initial value plus your dividend and divided by your initial value. So 200 minus 100, 100 plus 50 is 150. 150 by 100, like 1.5 is your return. Similarly, जब हम stock prices में हम price करते हैं, in mutual funds में we'll take the NAVs, the net asset value. So again it says the initial NAV is 20, the ending NAV is 20.10. The income distribution is 15, and your capital gains distribution is 0.05. So these are nothing but a kind of dividends. You have the final NAV minus your initial NAV plus your dividends and capital contributions divided by your initial NAV, INAV करके लिख रहा हूँ. तो 15% का रिटर्न यहाँ मिल जाता है. Yeah, so that thing must be clear to you. Now they have given like some of the sites where you people can get the mutual fund data. AMFI, the asset management fund, so AMFI is there, Association of Mutual Funds of India. Morningstar, Yahoo, Investment Company Institute, your Crystal, Money Control, Trendline, all these are available to get information. Then again, you have the mutual fund ranking. The mutual fund ranking is basically given by CRISIL, the Credit Research Information Services of India, the Credit Rating Information Service of India Limited. So basically, it was launched in 2000 and it is the largest credit rating agency all over. That you need to know. So basically, it gives you the fund base, like which mutual fund is the best one, or which mutual fund is not the best one. So all these details are given by CRISIL. Okay. And also, like we have CARE. We have the organization called CARE. It is of credit analysis and research. CARE is there. We also have ICRA. The investment credit and rating agencies also there. So all these are there to give you the agencies, basically. कि मतलब कि कौन से म्यूचुअल फंड बेस्ट है एंड विच इज द बेस्ट म्यूचुअल फंड टू गो विद. Okay, so that's all for today. I'll see you in the next session.